In this video, we're going to create the effect radiating out from the magic wand using the particle systems under the effects in After Effects. The first thing I'm going to do is create a new blank layer. I'll go to Layer and I'll choose New, Solid. And the color is insignificant because the particle system 2 will apply a default orange and red value to the effect. I'll click OK, and then I'm going to go to Effect, and I'll go to Simulation, Particle System 2. Now if I drag through my timeline, I start out with this, and you can see the default color. The effects will show up in the upper left-hand corner superimposed over your project window. If not, you can always go to Window and you'll see a list of all the windows there. I'll first start by opening the physics, and I'm going to change the default gravity of 1 to 0. And the first thing you'll notice is that the effect is coming out directly into the entire composition window. I'd like to reduce the scope of this, but before I do, I'm going to open Producer, and under Producer you'll see at the very top Position. If I were to click on that, I can move the center of the effect close to where perhaps the wand is in this instance. Now there's two ways to control how far it radiates out. I can start to reduce the birth rate, and that will make it sparser. And then I'm going to go down under Physics to Resistance, and as I increase the number of that, I can contain how far that effect goes out. Now if I was wanting to change the color, I could open Particle, and you'll see there are the two default colors that appear. So if you wanted to, you could go in and change these to anything you wanted. Under Particles, you'll see you can change it to other attributes and shapes that you might want instead, but I'm going to use Line for this particular instance. As in most Photoshop and After Effects features, we can control the opacity if we choose. And if I wanted to, I could play with the blend modes by going to Layer, Blending Modes, and there are the attributes that are quite similar to Photoshop, but there are quite a few more. And if I drag the clip, I can locate it where I would like it to begin perhaps. I'll click on the red box to the right of the number 1, and I'll drag it down below the wand. Now if I wanted to go off screen at a certain amount of time, I'll set this to go off in 2 seconds. And I'll hit T on the keyboard. I'll drop my first keyframe for opacity, and I'll maybe move a couple of frames ahead, depending on how quickly you would like it to transition off. And I'll make the opacity 0. So if I were to preview what I have at this point, I would have something like this. And if I wanted more time on screen for the effect, it would be simply a matter of moving the keyframes to do so.